Well, good evening, guys, and I figured I'd make a video a little bit different today and talk about some botany on this kind of poorly maintained sidewalk in suburban Salt Lake City. Well, I guess it's actually Polity, but kind of the same thing. Regardless, jumping right into the plants we have here, we got a lot of invasives, especially grasses. This, of course, is Bromus tectorum. All that little stuff growing underground coming as cheatgrass. Probably the absolute worst invasive plant you can find in Utah. So I'm not that pleased to see it here, but it's kind of what you expect in a place like this. We also got this taller grass we can see called Secale cereale, also better known as cereal rye. It's the same species of rye you grow in cultivation. It just happened to escape from farming here many decades ago, back when this was all agricultural. Damn, that's really loud. I hope you can hear me still, but regardless, that's kind of a story of a lot of invasives here. They're brought here either as a sort of cultivation or ornamental or accidental. That's pretty much how we all got here. I guess it's less invasive than the cheatgrass at least, and you can technically eat it. I mean, you can eat any grass, but it gets a little bit better. We also got some natives like this plant here. This is, of course, Ericameria nauseosa, commonly known as rubber rabbitbrush. It's one of the two common species of rabbitbrush you'll find around here, the other being Chrysophamus pseudoacacia. Not sure why it's got that name, but if you smell it when it's in bloom, you will understand how it's called Ericameria nauseosa. It is one of the most foul-smelling things ever. It's like old, disgusting, moldy, dirty socks. You also have this much nicer smelling plant. This is Rhus trilobata or Rhus aromatica. Some people split them into two different species. Some consider them just varieties or just even synonyms, but regardless, it is a native species of Sumac that has trifoliate leaves that smell, I think, quite nice when you crush them up, almost a little bit orangey. Quite nice, a little bit resinous. But of good smell all around. So yeah, let's see whatever cool plants we can find. This might seem a little bit rust, but you have to understand I have to do this in one take because the sunlight is going down and this is the least busy time for traffic and the like. So I really hope you could hear me for that 1 second. It was quite loud. If not, I might just overdub it, but whatever. Some more of the Ericameria nauseosa. I want to be clear, this is not, even though this is poorly maintained, this is not a bad part of town. This is just what America looks like sometime if you're unfamiliar with it. All this trash everywhere. Because street sweeping or sidewalk sweeping isn't really that common out here, I don't think. So trash starts to build up, and otherwise the neighborhood is pretty nice, actually. It's kind of crazy. Wow. Yeah, I'm sorry, this might be a bad idea, but I think it's worth it for the experience. It's over trees, but I think this might be Robinia. I can't remember the species of Robinia it is, but it's a black locust. Although it has much bigger thorns than I typically see on black locust plants if you get up close to it. Never mind, I'm not going to be able to see. You might be able to see the thorns through there, but it's a little bit difficult. Guys, a nasty invasive species that produces very nice flowers, so people like it even though it's terrible. Of course, you have another classic native species, Artemisia tridentata, a fairly decent sized specimen actually. It might be base and big, in fact. This is not necessary. People don't need to be this loud. I don't get why we do this. Assholes. For now, I'm trying to make a video here. Regardless, nice species, of course. And there's quite a few of them out here, which is good to see because it is a strong competitor, in fact. And yeah, a lot of the most common species, of course, are going to be strong competitors in the face of invasives, like all this grass out here. So it's not surprising to see a lot out here, but it is, of course, a welcome sight. A nice view of Mount Olympus right there. Now you can go and triangulate my position with that. If it wasn't super obvious already, I mean, I'm probably going to end up including some road signs in here by the end of it. So again, look at all this wonderful trash we got because no one ever cleans up in this goddamn country. Or they don't certainly pay people to do it. I mean, most people don't litter, but there's enough people right here that have to stop at the yield sign, I guess, or just right when you get on the freeway, so they might be on it for a while, but just going to throw out trash without giving much of a thought to it, which is something a shame, but I mean, it's not surprising here anymore. We're going to see who stops for me. Normally people are pretty good about stopping for me here, but we're going to find out. Look, I don't need to even stop this time. How nice. Let's see. That's a much better view of Mount Olympus over there. It's about 5 minutes of filming so far. Okay, I don't want to make this too long. I don't want to run into 2 clips. So another plant we have here is my topic of my first ever short. This is Grindelia squarrosa. I actually made it right here, I think on the 4th of July about 2 years ago. It's commonly known as gum cup because it's got really sticky resinous flowers that I'm not going to touch because it's really a boring demonstration over video. But if you ever see this plant, go and touch it and find out for yourself because it's the most stickiest things you'll ever find. And it is a nice, strong competing native. Never non-native, however, this is Locust cereale, commonly known as prickly lettuce, and it's starting to bloom. I'd pull it up, but it's really not even worth it here. There's just so much of them, and they spread so easily, it'll just be reinfested in a second. Though, you got some in your yard, it should be easy enough to control. And another terrible invasive here when it actually is easy to control, but no one is. This is Onopordum acanthium, commonly known as Scotch Thistle. It's named because it's got important to the Scotch people, even though it's not really a specifically Scotch plant at all. It's found very commonly in much of Europe, and I think even into the Middle East, although don't quote me on that. They get quite tall, which is cool for an herbaceous biennial plant. I think they're typically biennials. So these plants are going to die and then set seed, and then the next year will just form a very small rosette of leaves. So you can see any right here. Now these might be first year ones. Well, now that's a broken leaf. I don't know if we're going to see in the first year plants, but these are all second year plants. It's important to note. So yeah, let's just move on. Got the terrible Ulmus Pumila, the infamous, I got a prick on my foot I think, never mind. Ulmus Pumila, the Siberian elm, a really terrible invasive plant around here. Super nauseous. Definitely the most invasive tree you can find in Utah, with the exception perhaps of Ailanthus altissima, which you wonderfully get an example of right here. Just what a really terrible environment here, but there are a few nice plants. I mean, last couple of years here, I even saw somewhere around here, a specimen of, what's it called? I can't remember. It's a glove now. Spiralcia coccinea. That's a really cool plant, and again, another very hardy competitor, even in the face of cheatgrass. So it's a bit of a shame that it seemed to die out in this little sidewalk strip here. But I know, you can't help everything. Maybe those plants in the future. All right, 2.5 more minutes. If nothing else, if I can't make any useful footage out of this because it's so loud, at least this will be a good exercise and confidence for me, because I really don't like making videos of all these people seeing me. I mean, I really hate it when even a hiker seems to walk by me and doesn't acknowledge me. But it really doesn't matter that much. Jesus Christ. There was a lot of loud people out here today. Oh, yeah, this is an interesting one. We're right here. This appears to be Phragmites australis, the common reed as it's called, which is a very invasive plant in wetlands typically. So there might be a broken sewer line there or something like that. There could be a different species of grass as well, but if it is, there's likely some source of water for it to be growing there, but they don't have to grow in water. That being said, they're only really invasive around the Great Salt Lake and Utah Lake. All right, 1.5 minutes left. I wish I could control the microphone sensitivity without going to settings, but unfortunately I don't think I can, so I have to put up with this a little bit. That's a great view of Mount Olympus. The freeway overpass right there. I definitely think I peaked the microphone in a few spots, so I'm sorry, but this video is going to suck if it ever gets uploaded. Pile of shit. Nice view of Twin Peak as well. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up really quick because I'm at 30 seconds left before my camera can't keep recording anymore. This is Helianthus annuus, a native species to the western United States. If you think it looks like a sunflower, you are correct. This is the common sunflower of cultivation. Really cool plant. I think it's the only major crop you can actually find that is native to the western United States. I mean, there's probably a few others. This is definitely the biggest. And yeah, Native Americans cultivated originally and domesticated it, and now we got the lovely sunflowers. Although we didn't have that huge single stock. Okay, thanks. I guess it's not actually necessary to do this entire video in one clip, so I will just, I'll start filming some more stuff here. So I got a couple of our plants. This is a species of Kochia. I can't remember what the full scientific name is, but it's an invasive member of the family Amaranthaceae. I think it's edible, so it may be, I'm positive it's edible, so I'm pretty sure it was brought over perhaps as forage. But anyways, a native species, I'm pretty sure this is Ericameria canadensis, known as horseweed. It may actually be a member of a different genus now, because it certainly doesn't look like the other members of the genus Ericameria. It's very miniature petals, I think you can see them here. A little hard to see, but I think it is indeed a native plant, technically speaking, so a very weedy one at that. So I don't know, maybe have weeds in your yard, introduce this so you can at least have some native weeds. And what else? I mean, this is going to be the end anyway, so I'm not going to continue it much further than this. Let's get past the messy Sagebrush strip. This fence or wall was recently torn down from this new hotel. I mean, they just built it and they tore it down, so I don't know why, but the rebar there looks pretty rusted out, so maybe it has something to do with it. And here's another Helianthus annuus, maybe when it's a little bit interbred with the, you know, some of the domestic ones around here, the ones, as I was trying to say, the common sunflowers, the way they grow with one huge stalk and stem, and one giant flower at the top, it's just really not that natural. I mean, they typically have one central stem, but with a lot of branches that can also have flowers. This one seems almost like it's in between the two forms, the natural form and the unnatural one. You see a couple little guys right here. It's a good plant, a good hardy, native, perennial. So I like seeing it here. But anyways, thanks for watching and see you next time, I guess.